Caused the premature death of thousands of elderly people, it's a statistic. Inappropriately touch someone?
Right to jail, right away.
Viva Frei, Montreal litigator turned YouTuber, and this is Winnie the Westie, and there is an update in the Governor Andrew Cuomo situation. It's not much of an update, but
this deserves all of the attention it can get.
Read the sex crime complaint against Andrew Cuomo. Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has been under criminal investigation in multiple counties over allegations of inappropriate behavior with women. Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has been charged with a misdemeanor sex crime for allegedly groping a woman at the state's executive mansion last year. Read the full complaint below. Now, this won't really come as news to anybody who's been paying attention. It led to his resignation in disgrace as governor of New York. Andrew Cuomo, who arguably, but not so arguably, caused the excess deaths of thousands of elderly people in the state of New York. What took him down
was inappropriate touching of women.
The stories were all over the news, and one of the alleged victims went public recently over the summer. Brittany Comiso alleged that Andrew Cuomo inappropriately touched her in the executive mansion. I didn't know there was such thing as an executive mansion, but apparently Governor Cuomo had access to some executive mansion where he was allegedly up to no good when he wasn't causing the premature deaths of thousands of elderly people in the state of New York. Former Governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, had been under investigation for numerous incidents of inappropriate behavior, potentially criminal behavior. I did a vlog breaking down the Attorney General report, which basically found that Governor Cuomo did in fact commit these improprieties. So it didn't come as much of a shock that ultimately a criminal complaint was indeed filed against Andrew Cuomo, but the rollout of that criminal complaint, it seemed to have caught a bunch of people off guard. From Democrat and Chronicle, sheriff says case against Andrew Cuomo is strong despite confusion over summons. First came the misdemeanor criminal complaint filed against former Governor Andrew Cuomo, then came the confusion. The Albany County Sheriff's Office's decision to file a forcible touching complaint against the former governor Thursday afternoon caught many key players by surprise, including Cuomo, his alleged victim, and, perhaps most notably, District Attorney David Soares, whose office is now tasked with prosecuting the case. The confusion appeared to be ironed out somewhat Friday when Sheriff Craig Apple held a news conference to explain what happened from his perspective while confirming his office did intend to file the complaint. When the story of the criminal complaint against Andrew Cuomo broke, I was sort of surprised at the lack of coverage by the mainstream media, but this underlying story sort of might explain why there wasn't all that much coverage at the time. It seems that most people didn't know that the criminal complaint was coming Friday afternoon. And in a Friday afternoon press conference, in order to confirm that it wasn't actually a mistake, which might lead some people to believe that it was in fact a mistake, the sheriff confirmed that no, it wasn't a mistake and explained how it happened as follows. By Apple's telling, an investigator in his office dropped off a packet of documents at the Albany City Court on Thursday afternoon. That packet included a criminal complaint signed by investigator Amy Kowalski, accusing Cuomo of reaching under the blouse of one of his executive assistants, who has publicly identified herself as Brittany Comiso, 33, and grabbing her left breast during a December 7 encounter at the executive mansion. Apple said his office was under the impression the documentation would be reviewed for a period of time before an Albany City judge issued a summons for Cuomo to appear in court. But within 5 to 10 minutes of the complaint being filed, Apple said a judge issued a summons. And shortly after that, news of the complaint was immediately published by NYS Focus, a non-profit news outlet. And Sheriff Apples goes on to explain that they were not expecting a 5 to 10 minute turnaround, but they got a 5 to 10 minute turnaround, and then the news immediately broke, which goes to show you, when people are motivated to act,
they can certainly do things quickly.
So the news broke. I suspect mainstream media was caught off guard, which is why they were not immediately jumping all over this story, although the story does not come as much of a surprise, and the complaint itself really does not contain any details that we did not already know, having read the Attorney General report, but let's just go over it for the sake of going over it. Albany County Sheriff's Office misdemeanor complaint. The people of the state of New York versus Andrew M. Cuomo. I, Amy Kowalski, the complainant herein, am a police officer of the state of New York, to wit, an investigator of the Albany County Sheriff's Office assigned to the Criminal Investigation Unit located in the town of New Scotland, New York. I accuse Andrew M. Cuomo, the defendant in this action, and charge that on December 7, 2020, between the hours of 3:51 o'clock in the afternoon and 4:07 o'clock in the afternoon, while at 138 Eagle Street, the governor's executive mansion, on the second floor, located in the city of Albany, county of Albany, state of New York, the defendant Andrew M. Cuomo did knowingly and intentionally commit the Class A misdemeanor of forcible touching in violation of Section 130.52, Subdivision 1 of the Penal Law of the State of New York. And just to pull up the relevant provision of law so everybody knows exactly what it says, Section 130.52, forcible touching. A person is guilty of forcible touching when such person intentionally and for no legitimate purpose, 1. Forcibly touches the sexual or other intimate parts of another person for the purpose of degrading or abusing such person, or for the purpose of gratifying the actor's sexual desire. And that provision of law in fine specifies as follows. For the purposes of this section, forcible touching includes squeezing, grabbing, or pinching. Forcible touching is a Class A misdemeanor. The details of what Andrew M. Cuomo is alleged to have done are pretty well known. It was pretty well covered in the Attorney General report, but the complaint itself specifies that this is what he's accused of having done. To wit, at the aforesaid date, time, and location, the defendant Andrew M. Cuomo did intentionally and for no legitimate purpose forcibly place his hand under the blouse shirt of the victim and onto her intimate body part, specifically the victim's left breast, for the purposes of degrading and gratifying his sexual desires, all contrary to the provision of the statute in such case made and provided. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again, and it bears repeating. Everyone is innocent until and unless proven guilty in a court of law, and as much as people might despise Andrew Cuomo, he is nonetheless innocent until proven guilty. But I've got to tell you something. When you are under investigation, what you should probably not be doing is talking, and Alec Baldwin is a living, breathing, walking, talking example of that going on right now. But at one point in time, Andrew Cuomo actually put out an apology, a video, to explain what he did. And when you watch that video now, that video is more incriminating than it is exculpatory.
The New York Times published a front page picture of me touching a woman's face at a wedding and then kissing her on the cheek. That is not front page news. I've been making the same gesture in public all my life. Indeed, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of photos of me using the exact same gesture. Another woman stated that I kissed her on the forehead at our Christmas party and that I said, "Ciao, Bella." Now, I don't remember doing it, but I'm sure that I did. You have seen me do it on TV through all my briefings and for 40 years before that.
Andrew Cuomo comes out in his own defense, and his defense is not that, no, I didn't do these things. His defense is that, yes, I did these things. I did them all the time. I've been doing them for years. You know that I've been doing them, so why are you now holding it against me? His own defense for himself is that this is such common knowledge, what he does both publicly and in private, that it shouldn't be front page news, and he then goes on to provide literally a montage of what many people will consider to be highly inappropriate public touching of other people. I mean, this kind of public statement, public apology, makes Kyle Dunningham's parody look like a documentary.
I have been accused of touching women's privates. Not true. I'm Italian. We talk with our hands. And all that my hands were saying was, what time is it?
This entire Andrew Cuomo scandal illustrates a number of disgusting realities of the world of politics. Andrew Cuomo's behavior was the worst kept secret in New York, but to the extent that he was politically useful, the political system itself was willing to protect Andrew Cuomo. The second he became a political rival to the system itself, they threw him under the bus, but they didn't throw him under the bus for killing thousands of elderly people.
They threw him under the bus for this.
Politics is a disgusting industry where the deaths of thousands of people is a mere statistic, but if you touch certain people inappropriately and you are no longer a political insider, you are no longer a political ally, they will come after you in such a way that within 5 to 10 minutes of filing the documents in court, they will have a summons for your arrest. And this Andrew Cuomo scandal does also illustrate that when the desire is there, the system can in fact work very quickly and very efficiently. But those are the latest developments in the Andrew M. Cuomo scandal, and this is going to be a story that we are going to continue to follow, because if the mainstream media does not want to give it all the attention it deserves,
I sure as heck will.
I will always be quite shocked and outraged that what took Andrew Cuomo down was not the fact that he contributed to the excess deaths of thousands and thousands of people in the state of New York. What took him down was this, but I guess he deserves to be taken down, so who cares how he got taken down at the end of the day, but it certainly does show the political priorities of the powers that be. To be continued one way or the other, and if you like my videos and you like my content, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and drop a comment in the comment section below because it feeds the algorithm.
me see more.
If you want to support the channel, support links are in the pinned comment. We've got some merch. Robert Barnes and I do weekly streams every Sunday. We do weekly streams with a guest every Wednesday called The Sidebar. You can also find us and support us on Locals, where supporters get lots of exclusive content, but non-paying members get a lot of free content. You can find us at
VivaBarnesLaw.locals.com.
all of my content is also on Rumble, so you can catch it there. But more important than anything, take care of yourselves, check in on friends and family, make sure everyone around you is doing well, and now you know your vlog. Peace out. Booyah!